Hello, everybody. This is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and we are here today to do my March TBR. I'm almost afraid to say TBR because I'm not sure if I want to say it because then I jinx myself. But I've been doing great each month so far this year. I have been reading what I said I was going to read and feeling pretty good about it. So we're going to go for 3 for 3, see if March can be just as successful. However, March is a busy month, okay? First, we're going to just address the things that you can see right now before I even begin to talk about the books that I want to read. First, let's talk about my shirt. I'm feeling Women's History Month. I am feeling my Wakanda Forever t-shirt here that I always wear. I don't always wear, but I wore for one of the Comic-Cons that we had. So I had decided to put this on for our video. And I brought some of these great postcards that I have. I'm like crazy. I bought like 2 sets of them, one so that I could keep them as art pieces and the others that I can send to friends. And so I decided that any of the videos that I do this month of March, I will put different people up here. Now that means I have to keep track, and you can keep me accountable if I have duplicated or put the same person up here. But we got Bessie Coleman, we've got Shirley Chisholm, and Zornia Hurston here today. They're going to sit with me so we can talk a little bit about my potential reads for this month. And like I said, this month is a month of many. So we have our Women's History Month. We've got our March Mystery Madness, which I always participate in each year. I'm going to link below March Mystery Madness intro video for people that aren't familiar with it. If they usually have some prompts, I usually ignore most of the prompts now because I tend to end up using prompts force me sometimes to end up feeling compelled to buy another book, and I just want to read the books that I own, the mysteries that I have. And so I'll show you what I have for that. And then the anti-brain rot, I will put a link as well. I've been talking about that since the beginning of the year. I have challenged myself to read 1 or 2 of the books that she has in her bindery book club selections, which they actually can coincide and be used for the anti-brain rot. So far I've been doing all of their nonfiction and very much enjoying. Cobalt Red was phenomenal, the last one I read, and I told everybody they got to read it. The next one that I'm going to read, I don't have it yet. I'm waiting for it to come from the library. But what has been a pattern so far with all these books that I've gotten from her list, I like them so much and I want to mark them up and keep them as reference. So there's a very good chance this could happen with this, but I always start with the library because I'm trying to be better about buying books. So the book is called Empire of AI, Dreams and Nightmares, and Sam Altman's OpenAI. And this is tiny, I don't know if you can see the little tiny picture of it there. Can you see it? There it is. That's what it looks like. And so this was published in May 2025. It's 496 pages for anybody that's interested. It's Penguin Press. And let me read you a little bit of description about it. When AI expert and investigative journalist Karen Howe first began covering OpenAI in 2019, Ella, be careful because you're going to knock that over. Watch your feet, okay? Can I move that cord for you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll have a big problem. Yes, my producer is here. She's always here. Where was I, Belinda? Okay, from a brilliant long-time AI insider with intimate access to the world of Sam Altman's OpenAI from the beginning, an eye-opening account of arguably the most fateful tech arms race in history, reshaping the planet in real time from the cockpit of the company that is driving the frenzy. When AI expert and investigative journalist Karen Howe first began covering OpenAI in 2019, she thought they were the good guys, founded as a nonprofit with safety enshrined as its core mission. The organization was meant. Its leader, Sam Altman, told us to act as a check against more purely mercantile and potentially dangerous forces. What could go wrong? Over time, Howe began to wrestle even more deeply with that question. Increasingly, she realized that the core truth of this massively disruptive sector is that its vision of success requires an almost unprecedented amount of resources. Ella, you're going to knock it over with your foot. You need to lift your foot up. Don't lay on it. what could go wrong? You're going to mess me over. Over time, she began to wrestle with even more deeper questions than that. Increasingly, she realized that the core truth of this massively disruptive sector is that its vision of success requires an almost unprecedented amount of resources, the quote, compute power of high end chips, and the processing capacity to create massive large language models. Um, and it goes on. It just sounds like another one that's just like almost like an expose, right, of OpenAI. And I know very little, beyond what I do in terms of if I do to search online. I do know that I really feel like right now there is like an excessive push for to get users to do it, and I think my age allows me a bit of grace to recognize that, why are you so pushy? Like everything you go on to, you're watching a TV show and a commercial comes on and tells you how, the implication by all of the visuals that your life is going to be great if you just use Chat GPT, and you're going to be on vacation with this beautiful woman, and I don't know how like that is done, but it is an art of manipulation that is being pressed on us, I feel, in my opinion. And I think that we have to be more cautious with it. So I really want to read to see what she has to say in this book. So I think that's going to be really good. So that's going to be my selection for the anti-brain rot challenge. And then I have two things. I think this could count for two. I don't always do this, but I like when things like this end up like this. So for my book club, we're reading Bernice L. McFadden's memoir called Firstborn Girl. And so I thought this could potentially, if I don't finish what I have selected for Women's History, or options for Women's History Month, then this one could still stand in, I think. We'll see. It says on her second birthday in 1967, Bernice McFadden died in a car crash near Detroit, only to be resurrected after her mother pulled her from the flaming wreckage. Firstborn Girls traces her remarkable life from the moment of the publication of her first novel, Sugar. Growing up in the 1980s Brooklyn, Bernice finds solace in books, summer trips to Barbados, and boarding school to escape her alcoholic father. Discovering the works of Alice Walker and Toni Morrison, she finally sees herself and her loved ones reflected in their stories of messy, beautiful, joyful Black people. Interwoven with her personal journey as her family's history, beginning from her 4 times enslaved great-grandmother Louise Vesey Wilson in 1822 in the Hancock County, Georgia. Her descendants survived Reconstruction and Jim Crow, joining the Great Migration, and mourned Dr. King's assassination during the Civil Rights Movement. This woman's wisdom, secrets, and fierce love are passed down like Louise's handmade quilt. So this sounds so good. This sounds like, oh my God, the discussion is going to be off the hook. I'm telling you, it's going to be so great. I can't wait to read it. I embarrassingly have not read her books yet. I own 2. I own Tumbling and another. I think I own Sugar. Yeah, I bought the Sugar. I bought the special edition one, I think, the anniversary edition. So I have not read them yet. But this will be my first entries. And it's kind of nice because I think that coming this way and knowing about her will influence the way I read what she writes a lot more than if I read this after the fact. So I feel kind of blessed that I am coming at it that way. So I'm reading this for book club. That's one. What I have chosen, there's 2. So I have 2 books as an option for my Women's History Month, and I'm still struggling to figure out which one is going to be. This would be the faster one of the 2. If I feel like what I've chosen for my other books are just too much and I have too much volume, this might win out of the one that I want to really read. Not that I don't want to read this one, but I know this one I could get through a lot faster. I had started this a little bit last month, but then I think I got in 20 pages, and it was just a book to add on if I could get further. Right? I just didn't have enough time. So this one I talked about in past videos. It's a historical fiction, and it's talking about a journalist called Hetty Carlin, and who is taking on covering Althea Gibson, the famous tennis player. And I don't have no idea about any of that. I do know about, obviously Althea, but I don't know anything about Hetty Carlin. So I'm curious to learn about her in this book. This author also writes another book. This is inspired by the Amazing True Story. They're both historical fictions. The other one is called Codename Butterfly. And that was her first novel. So this is her second novel, I believe. But so there's that, right? But the one that I wanted to read, and I got this last year. I think this last year I got this. I think I remember showing you guys it in a haul. And this is Joy Goddess, Aurelia Walker in the Harlem Renaissance by Aurelia Bundles. She's author of On Her Own Ground, and she's the daughter of Madam C.J. Walker. And this is her story. And so... Okay, well, that was a good save. I would have been really mad because I love this cover and I would not want it to get a ding in it. So there's this one. It says a vibrant biography of Aurelia Walker, daughter of millionaire businesswoman Madam C.J. Walker, an iconic figure in her own right. Dubbed the Joy Goddess of Harlem in 1920s by poet Langston Hughes for her lavish parties, Aurelia Walker helped define the Harlem Renaissance after inheriting. So again, we're in another book that will bring me along and tell me that I really need to read. The one that I want to read that I haven't read yet still is The Harlem Rhapsody and With Love from Harlem. But see, hold on a second. Let me grab them so I can stop reaching and talking and reaching. So I want to read. I don't know what my reluctancy is. Well, I know my reluctancy for one of them, but one I don't. This one, I was waiting for all of the hoo-ha to die down. I don't like reading them when everybody else is reading it. I just don't. Only when I'm in a book club that I like to do that. Other than that, I feel like it's too much noise and I can't focus on my experience. So the noise has kind of died down a little bit with this. So I definitely want to get to this one this year. But this is, my point was that this is going to be really like related because these will be like my Harlem Renaissance collection, that's covering that period. And this is the latest that's come out. Not reading this anytime soon. You can go online and find a whole bunch of people talking about it. It was just released. This is Rashonda Tate's newest book. It's called With Love from Harlem. And this is also set in that time period as well. So, it feels like I have a collection of books that will give me a good picture of an era of time. So I'm really wanting to read this. I've had it, like I said, I got it, I think last year. And when I saw it, I was like, I knew I had to have it. So I think this came out last year. I just want to confirm that. Yeah, it's 2025. So I'd like to read this for Women's History Month. And I will stop talking about these until I get to them again. But every time I hear somebody say that, I'm like, oh, I still want to read this one. So there's that. Now, for my March Mystery Madness, I am so excited about this one. I got this last summer as soon as it came out. I think it was last summer. And I remember dragging my son with me to go to this bookstore to go get it. I was like, I gotta get this book. I want it so bad. And it's A Murder for Miss Hortense, a mystery by Mel Pennant. I think this is her date. Let me see. She's an award-winning playwright whose work has appeared in the National Archives as well as on stage. Born in London, she was raised in an extraordinary village, which included her Jamaican grandparents who moved in England in the 1950s, part of the Windrush generation. Mel is drawn to stories that explore the hidden below the surface and celebrate the richness and strength of tight-knit communities. She lives in London with her family and her dog, Blue. This is her first novel. That's what I was trying to get to. But this one, it sounds like this is the sleuth here. She's okay, I'm going to read it. Miss Hortense is sharper than Poirot, tougher than Vera, and a better cook than Columbo. It's murder, she wrote, as you never seen it before. Sir Lenny Henry. That's somebody blurbed. Retired nurse, avid gardener, and renowned cake maker, Miss Hortense has lived in Biggleswade, a quiet suburb of Birmingham, England, since she immigrated from Jamaica in 1960. She takes great pride in her home, starching her lace curtains bright white, and she can tell if she's been shortchanged on turmeric before she's taken her first bite of a beef patty. A career in nursing has also left her afraid of nobody. Whether an fearing priest or a local drug dealer, and she's an expert in deciphering other people's secrets with just a glance. So it's what I'm hoping for with this book is that this is the first, and that Miss Hortense is going to do more. And I haven't looked it up to see if that's it, because then I'm going to get super excited. But I just don't think there's any way that this can go wrong with all those descriptions. And I'm just here for this. So I'm so excited to have the excuse. And when I bought it, I said I'm going to read it for March Mystery Madness. I waited. So there's that. The last book that I'm considering for my TBR for March is one of the things that I am challenging myself to do this year is to read a little bit more out of my comfort zone in genres that I don't typically always gravitate to. You can see I love a lot of historical fiction. I do like mystery and literary fiction, but I don't really gravitate to horror. And I haven't read a science fiction in a long time. And I own several fantasy books and one that I have to finish. So those are the areas that I'm thinking I'm going to try to kind of patch up this year. And so I thought, what better way to start with my first horror book. And this is I'll Make a Spectacle of You by Patrice Winfred Eicher. So you got a lot in this. You got mystery, you've got a biography, you've got some historical fiction, and you've got a memoir, and now we have a horror. So there's something here for everybody in this TBR of mine. So this one is a twisty, brooding, and unpredictable as deliciously creepy as a long walk home through a darkened wood. Zora Robinson is an ambitious grad student in her dream program at Brixbury Mountain College. But when her thesis advisor hands her a strange diary and suggests she research the local legend about a beast in the woods, she finds the community uneager to talk to an outsider. As she delves deeper into the legend's history, Zora uncovers a rumored secret society called the Keepers, which has tenuous ties to the beast and to Brixbury itself. When students start disappearing, Zora finds herself plagued by visions of the past as she struggles to separate truth from folklore before it's too late. I made sure that my husband's not traveling this month because I am a baby. We'll turn all lights on after our scary movie. So when I have to go to the bathroom. So he is not traveling. So this is the month that I feel like I can try it. And it is a Black author. I thought I'd get a horror, but written by a Black author. And do we have anything in here about the author? It says Patrice Winfred Eicher is a storyteller, hiker, and tarot reader from Southern Appalachia. Beatrice is a co-host of the Afronauts podcast, which discusses and uplifts Black speculative fiction. They are a Voodoo Knots fellow and a Dwarf Stars Ignite and Riesling Awards finalist. So, and there's a little picture here, but you probably can't really see it because it's black and white, and this is really not the best lighting for it. So it says immersive, inventive, and scary as hell. So I am ready to see if I'm going to be scared. So this is going to be my first horror this year. I've already found some really cool. I found a really great science fiction, two actually, that I want to read. Which I'm excited because I used to read science fiction, but I just haven't done anything in a while. So I'm very excited about that. And then the fantasy, I think I can cover because I have a book that I need to finish the trilogy. So there's that. So these are the books we're talking about, okay? Let's put that one down first and see. These are the ones we're talking about for my March Mystery, Book Club, Women's History, and then the anti-brain rot one, which I can't see if I can get it up there again, but the Open AI one. I think that one's going to be really good. So these are the options, including this one as well. If things get too crazy and this seems long. I mean, it's definitely a bigger book, so we know, this one wins out on size, but I really, really want to read that one. So I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not sure who I'm starting first either. I definitely want to get to book club. I missed it last month, so I want to make sure that I leave enough time to read through this. So I'm super excited about it. I actually won this Chocolate Cover Pages. I don't know if you've watched her videos. Fabulous. I won this from her. So I'm hoping it will still work. It is an advanced reader copy. So I'm hoping that it's not, that there's not a lot of corrections after this so that I look like Dum Dum in the book club when we discuss it. So that way I can just read it. And if I really, really enjoy it, which I feel like I'm gonna, I'll probably pick up the actual book. But I'm hoping it's like, this is the other reason I like this one, is because it's paperback and it's the floppy kind. So it just lends itself better than a big old clunky, you know, like I love this, and don't get me wrong, but it's just, you know, it's just bulky, you know. So anyhow, that's what I'm reading. Let me know if you're doing any March Mystery Madness books. Let me know if you're doing anti-brain rot or what you're reading for Women's History Month. There's so many options. Let me know what you're reading. If you've read any of these books, if you think you might want to read one of these books, because I think they all sound fabulous. I am going to talk to you guys later with updates on where I am in these reading, and maybe I can try to squeeze in a vlog this month. We will see. My son's coming home for spring break, so that'll take up time too. So I'm going to see if I can squeeze one in. I want to start getting the vlogs in, not just in the summer. So anyway, I will talk to you guys soon, and I hope you're well. Bye.